Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news and playthroughs. Today, we're playing through Clans of Caledonia. Now wait a minute, Clans of Caledonia isn't a co-op game, but it is a game with a very good solo mode. It isn't as good as my favorite solo mode of games of this type, which is the Gaia Project, but I really like Clans of Caledonia. It's a great mix of economic Euro and board placement and things like that. There's a lot going on. It's a lot to take in on your first play, so I'm not going to explain everything with the rules, but I have a lot of fun with this one. It's varied from play to play, and I'll show you some places where it's varied. Well, it starts right here with your clan selection right at the beginning. So you could be either Clan Ferguson, which lets you start with more people on the board and better at shipping. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to focus on Clan Campbell. And what they do is they get to building... They're really good at building the same thing, more and more of the same type of good. So the more they build of the same type of good, the cheaper it becomes. So the first factory they build is going to be 3 cheaper. The second one of the same type they build is 4 cheaper. And the fourth one of the same type are going to be 5 cheaper. So it's just cheaper and cheaper to build the same kind of processed goods. That only works for processed goods, not all goods. But I'll explain what all that means later, because it's basically a game where you're in the Scottish Highlands and you are trying to create goods to fulfill contracts, and you're going to trade your stuff away. You're going to get stuff back for doing that. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's a victory point scoring game. Your results here determine how well you do at the end. So it's beat your own score. The game is great. Multiplayer, it's really good solo too though, so please feel free to ask questions as we go along. Now, your initial clan, not only are you picking a clan, but you're picking what goods you get with this. So this clan, Clan Campbell here, is going to start with these resources. So you're going to actually start with 2 wheat, a cheese, which is a processed good, and some money here at the beginning of the game. So you're going to start with different things depending on your clan selection. They get a random tile with them every time. So that starts the variety from game to game there. But let's go ahead and get started, and I will explain a little bit about what's going on. So for the solo game, they block off all the spots on the board that have a 1 coin. And what does that mean? Well, in order to build in the space, you're going to have to pay a cost for whatever you're building. So if you want to put people on the board, for example, if you want to put miners on the board, it costs you 10 plus whatever the cost on the space. So if I wanted to build it here, that would be 13. Here, 13. Here, because there's a 5 coin on space, it would be 15. Of course, you have to place miners touching a mountain. You have to place these woodsmen, I think they're called, over here, connected to woods. They're the same thing. They're a little cheaper. They're 6 apiece, but they produce different amounts of money as well. The woodsmen produce 4 money every turn, and these miners over here, they produce 6 money every turn per one that you have out. And then as you produce these other things, you're going to be producing sheep, which gets you wool. You're going to be cows, which gets you milk. And then you can process the milk into cheese. And these processing buildings are what I can build cheaper. You also can do wheat over here, and you can turn wheat into a couple things. You could turn it into whiskey. Hello, yes, thank you, which was one of the major Scottish exports. Or you could turn it into bread. So you have different things. You're going to be producing these things, and it's actually pretty straightforward once you get to it. Any of these buildings here, which are your production buildings, you could build on any space with Greenland on it. And then, you know, these woodcutters can only be placed on places with wood, but this space right here, you can see it as Greenland and it's got wood, so you could produce either good there. That is kind of the basics. We'll get through some other things as well, but usually what I like to do before I decide, so at the beginning of the game, you're going to put 2 of your workers down, and they have to be things that produce you money. So it's got to be either woodcutters or miners. So what I like to do at the beginning of the game is, first of all, there are 4 bonuses, which are going to be different every game, and they're going to be in the corner of the board, and they're going to give you different bonuses if you are connected to them. This one's easy because you could just build next to them. For the rest of these, you're going to have to get shipping lanes to send it to. So this shipping track up here, you're going to go up. First, lets you go over rivers. Yes, where this game is set in the Scythe universe. You cannot build over rivers unless you first research technology to be able to do that. But then you can go over 1 lock, 2 locks, 3 locks, or even 4 locks by the end of the game and connect your cities that way. Because each of your cities has to be connected except for these first 2. That's what we're doing. We're setting the scene by placing these first 2 down. And then these will be your merchants here. They'll let you buy and sell goods in the market over here. So this is kind of your internal market within Scotland. And then this is your external contracts that you're trying to fulfill. You need to fulfill the things on the left here. So if I wanted to fulfill this contract, I need 1 cheese and 3 whiskey. And for that contract, I'll get back 4 tobacco, 5 money, and 2 of these hops over here. Hops are just 1 victory point at the end of the game. The goods up here are all going to be worth a variable amount of victory points based on what you have traded for the most of. So they're going to be either worth 3, 4, or 5 at the end of the game. So if I get 4 tobacco here, I'll have more tobacco than anything else. So that will change and become worth only 3 victory points at the end of the game. Whatever you have the most of will be worth the least victory points. So you want to kind of keep these things close together, and you want the one you have the least of to have quite a few of still, so that way you get 5 victory points per. So that's one way of scoring victory points at the end of the game, is fulfilling these contracts. Again, you get 1 point per hop, and then you're going to get paid out on those other goods based on where they're at the end of the game. The other thing, after each round, and there are 5 rounds in the game, you're going to score victory points for whatever's over here. So at the end of the first round, you get 1 glory for each of your deployed sheep, cows, cheese, dairies, bakeries, distilleries, and 2 for each field. Now the reason fields are worth more, first of all, you'll notice they cost 18, where the most of the other things are only like 7 or 5. Well, actually, these are cheap. This is normally 10, but remember, I get discounts on these processed good buildings. So you want to have a lot of those for this first round. So that's going to be end of round scoring. Over here, you're going to get 1 glory for each of your upgrades. So upgrades could come in 3 forms. You could either upgrade your shipping, which we talked about. You could buy more merchants. At the beginning of the game, we start with 2 of these. These are what let us buy and sell here in the market. And then the other thing you could upgrade is over here. You could upgrade these so that you actually, and they cost 10 each. These upgrades here only cost 4 each. And these upgrades let your miners and woodsmen collect more money. So lots of things you can upgrade. So that's the second round. We want to do upgrades if we want to score points there. We don't have to do it for everyone, but it's certainly something to think about. Scoring at the end of the round, gain 2 glory for each unit of meat in your fulfilled export contracts. So over here, you'll notice sometimes they require meat. It could be either mutton or steak. I'm actually not sure if it's called steak. Maybe that's called meat. And the way you do that, you'll notice those aren't any goods here, except you'll notice the sheep gives you mutton. So you'll actually have to remove buildings from the board to collect those contracts. So we want meat. Oh, it actually shows a picture right there. So it's both kinds of meat in fulfilled contracts. So something to think about. Over here, gain 2 glory for each of your deployed workers, including fishermen if you're Clan McDonald. Well, we aren't, but these workers here will score as victory points later in the game, so that's good to think about. And at the end of the last round of the game, we gain a glory for each unit of cotton, tobacco, sugarcane on your fulfilled contracts. So really, this wants us to fulfill contracts. This wants us to fulfill contracts. So I think we're going to fulfill contracts is kind of the point here. So it may vary from game to game what these are and what order they come out. So at the beginning of the game, we want a lot of stuff on the board. Later in the game, we want to fulfill contracts. So what do you do on your turn? Well, first things first, let me deploy a couple people. Let's look at these. Last thing that's going to vary from game to game. Receive 1 bonus upgrade. So this gives us a free upgrade. If we build next to this, we'll be able to do that at any point in the game. That'll be good. Pay $3 and put a port bonus marker on this tile, then use one of the other 3 port. So you could do this one a second time if you wanted to. Get 3 victory points and an upgrade. Might be worth thinking about. You have to pay 3 for that, and of course we have to be connected. What's this one here? Discard a processed good of your choice and gain 2 processed goods of your choice. So this lets you trade 1 type of processed good for 2 of a different type of processed goods. All right, take any 2 of your units from your player board other than fields and exchange them. So this lets us, let's say we were deep into selling cheese here, and all the contracts don't want cheese anymore. Now they want bread. And so it lets us change 2 of our cheese buildings into bread buildings. So that'll be interesting, but not useful till later in the game. And to be honest, this is kind of hard to get to. It's kind of cut off by the water and everything over here, so I might not worry too much about this one. This is another one. It's a really good bonus, but you got to get a 6-point thing here. So I'm definitely going to focus on these 2. This one will actually let me get one of the bonuses from down here, even if I can't quite get there. So let's see, beginning of the game. Well, I like that mountain there. But you know what? I can also, all right, I'm going to build a woodworker. I want to build somebody. Well, that's a cheap place. And it's kind of in the middle there. Let's go ahead and do that. So that cost me 8. Remember, 6 for the worker themselves, 2 for the spot. So that's 8. And I had 55 money, and now I do not have 55 money anymore. Now, I want to keep doing the same thing because if I do decide to upgrade, I don't want to have to upgrade both of these. So I'm going to keep going with woodworker theme here. Let's see, where else can I build woodworkers? Well, those are all trapped in the same area. Oh, this is a nice cheap place over here too. So 8 more money and gets me another woodworker on the board. All right, so now I just want to do get as many of those on the board as possible. But remember, we also need to fulfill these contracts. So let's look at my starting goods that I have. I have a cheese and I have 2 wheat. Well, 2 wheat I could actually turn into whiskey if I wanted to work on this contract, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Remember, we wanted meat for some of our contracts as well. I could go for bread and cheese. Let's kind of see where I go here. I want to do processed goods though, so I don't want to do a lot of, well, all right, so I could get the wool from the sheep and then turn it into mutton later to sell along with my whiskey, and I can get some bread, and I already have cheese. All right, so let's think about that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on getting bread because I already have 2 wheat. So you need wheat to turn into bread, but I already have wheat. So let's go ahead and build a bread factory, I guess. So that cost me 8. You'll notice it's 3 for the space. And normally it would be 8, but I'm -3 because of the clan I am. Remember, the first processed good place I make becomes cheaper. So that's down to 5. So it cost me 8 to build there. So then I'll be down to $31. And the nice part about this mod is that it gets the pricing really easy. So this would normally be 10 for me, but it's going to be 7. I also want to get this on the board. I kind of want to build up this way to be closer to here. And I don't want to take away these wood spots because I may want to put some woodworkers there later in the game. Although this is a much cheaper spot for me to build. It's the first round of the game. I'm going to try to go cheap for now as best I can. Although I may go more expensive. I may upgrade. All right. So next action I'm going to take. So that's one action, one possible action you could take. And here's the player reference board. Kind of tells you what you do in order at the top, how the round goes. This is just doing our actions here. These are producing goods, scoring victory points for that victory point tile. At the beginning it says, you know, flip over the next victory point tile and then like collect your workers and stuff like that. So this is just, the top is what you do on your turn. But the bottom here tells you your possible options. You could buy or sell goods at the market. You could get a contract. You can expand, which is which is what you've seen so far. Moving your guys around the board, which gives you potentially neighborhood bonuses. We'll get to that as we get to end game scoring. You could upgrade shipping, upgrade technology, or hire a merchant. So we've talked about all those. Those are upgrades on your board, or you could fulfill a contract. And that's basically it. And then when you pass at the end of the round, you get money based on the order you passed. So far, we've talked about expanding. We've taken stuff from our board and put it on the main board. Now I want to talk about upgrading. Remember I said earlier, we can't build over rivers, and there's a river in my way here because I want to kind of build out this way. First of all, it's cheaper plots of land, but also it kind of gets me toward this bonus, which I'd like to get before the end of next round because you get bonuses for being upgraded. So I'm going to need to upgrade this though. It cost me 4 to upgrade, so I'm going to do it, confirm, and now I can build across rivers. So what do I want to build? Well, let's see. What else do I need for these contracts? We were talking about doing this one, so I need some sheep because I need to turn them into mutton. Now, this is interesting. I actually made some mistakes already. I actually want to build these in the cheapest places possible, so I'm going to build this over here in this 2-point place. The reason is when you turn it into mutton, you're going to clear that space up again. Now, I did need the river walk ability, whatever you want to call it, to get over here because it's on the other side of a river. But I really want to build those in cheap spots because, and let's see, how much money? I got 8 money left, which is probably not going to be enough to do a whole lot. I do need 1 more wool to fulfill this contract. Here we go. So in each round of the game, it's going to cost you a different amount to collect contracts from this contract board. In the first round of the game, it actually gives you 5 money. For each contract you choose, you get 5 money. The second round, it's free to get. Third round, it costs you 5 money. Fourth round, it costs you 10 money per contract. Last round, it costs you 15 to take a contract. So if I take a contract right now, and I want to take this one, because I don't want to get rid of my my sheep because I need them to produce. But you'll see, I kind of made a mistake here. So I took that contract. Let's see. Take the contract. Yeah, all right. So click here to take a contract. You'll notice I have 8 money, gives me 5 more. So let's confirm that action. So now I have that contract. And let's see, I have some wheat here, but I'm going to need that wheat to upgrade because I don't have any wheat fields. So I'm not producing wheat. Wheat fields are very expensive, but they produce 2 wheat at a time. But I am going to get my bread and my whiskey out of that wheat that I already have. So I can't really sell that. My cheese, same thing. While I'm going to need cheese for this contract I just grabbed. Oop, here's the contract I just grabbed. Well, I'm going to need cheese for that. I don't need to produce it myself because I already have some. And if you ever don't have goods, you can always buy and sell over here. We'll definitely get into that later, how to do that. But I don't want to buy or sell anything at this point. What I do want to do is I need 1 more sheep on the board. And the reason for that, just as a reminder, is I'm going to need 2 wool for this contract. So each sheep, and if you see it underneath on the board here, you'll see that it actually produces wool. It shows you that this produces bread, and you'll see the little plus sign there, and that means it's getting you 1. Now you're gonna, for these, you're gonna have to convert, but we have the wheat to be able to convert. All right, so I need 1 more sheep to get the wool I need, and then hopefully this contract will still be here next turn. 1 does disappear randomly at the end of every round in the solo game. So somebody might take that contract, but if not, I will have everything I need to build it, and you'll see why that'll be a good thing. So looking at that one there, I really want to build this on the cheapest place possible, and that's why I said I messed up. I really wanted to reserve this 2 spot here for building it, because after I destroy it, I want to build it again. And so, yeah, I did myself no favors here. But I am going to build here because it is 4, which is cheaper, and it kind of gets me this way, even though in 2 seconds it'll probably be destroyed and it won't matter anyway. Maybe before I do that, I'll build in this 3 spot, and then I'll take this out, and then I can just build whatever I want there later. So something to think about. There's lots of things to think about, but once I get past here, we got some really cheap building spots over here. So I really would like to get past all of this stuff so I can really start building cheaply down at the bottom here. All right, so you can see there's a lot going on in this game, a lot to think about, but it's all pretty straightforward. And you know, the Board Game Arena mod does a real good job. It's super easy to play here. It is a premium game, so you do have to have a membership, but the membership's $4 a month, or if you subscribe for a year, it's $2 a month. Not bad, especially in this COVID world we're at now. Really not a bad deal at all. All right, so I only have $1 left, and every action pretty much costs money, except for I could sell my goods, but we already went over that I don't want to do that. So I am just going to pass. And that will end the round. When you pass, you get $16 because in a solo game, you always act as if you are passing first. So if you notice here, $16 for the first person to pass, $13 for the second person, but we'll always be the first person. And then I'll be player 1 in the next turn, of course. All right, so this is where I get to, so this is the goods production. So you'll notice I'm producing 2 wool because of my 2 sheep that I have on the board. And then I'm not producing any milk because I don't have any cows, not producing any grain because I don't have any grain places, but I already have 2, so that's why the 2 grain over here. Now, bread, I can produce 1 of each because I have production facilities. So I'm producing a bread, I'm producing a whiskey, and then this is how much money I'm getting, plus 8 from my woodcutters. 8 plus the 17 I already had will get me to 25. So 16, 1 I had left over, 16 I got for ending the round, 8 from woodcutters. Not doing great on money right now, I gotta be honest. I like to do better. And then we are about to score, gain 1 glory for each deployed sheep, cow, cheese, so we're gonna get some victory points for that as well. So, and it tells you all that stuff over here. Let's see, how many points did I get from doing all that? Goose scored 4 glory points. 4 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings already built. And these would be worth 2 each again because they're doubly good. All right. But that is that. I am done with all of that for the first round. So let's see. Did my mutton contract stay? It did. Good. All right. Unfortunately, I just noticed they're trading this for sugar. So I'm going to get 3 sugar from this. I'm also going to get 3 sugar from this one. I wasn't really paying too close attention to that. So I'm going to already be up to 6 with sugar, which means it's going to score at the lowest level, which will be 3 victory points per, unless I get something above it. So I'm probably not going to want to take any more sugar contracts for the rest of the game. I really do want to pay attention to that. But the one thing I do want to do is I want to build out, well, first things first, I can fulfill this contract because it doesn't cost me anything but goods I produced. I will click on it. You'll notice I do have the 2 wool, I have the 1 bread, and I have the 1 cheese. So I'm going to confirm. That'll fulfill that contract. So now I have 3 sugar. I got 10 money from doing that, and I get to upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade my money. Now this is still going to cost me 5. Normally these upgrades cost 4 a piece. So this is upgrading again, shipping. We already talked about this. This gives you another person that you can buy things from or sell things from to the market. I'm not really focused on that right now, but I do want to upgrade my woodcutters. Now when I upgrade them, this costs me 5, but it makes each of my woodcutters do better. So I have 35 money going down to 30, but now I am doing better. Now I get 6 coins per woodcutter. So if you notice on the left side, it shows you 4, 4, right? That's how much I was getting, but now I'm getting 6 per, so 6, 12. So it the graphic design on this game is really well laid out. It's super straightforward for what it is, but now it costs me 6 to build each of these, plus the cost of the space, but I'm going to get 6 for each of my woodcutters. And remember, one of the goals at the end of this round is to have a bunch of people on the board. So I'm going to try to do that if I can, get some more people on the board. I'd really like to do it in cheap spots, but we'll see. One-stop co-op shop. Yeah, seems like a really well implemented mod. Yes, really well implemented it is. And I didn't say the word implemented. I don't know what I said, but I'm just going to skip over it. All right, so I want to make this first. So because I have these buildings that produce goods based on how much wheat I have, I want to have a wheat income. The other thing I forgot to tell you is in the solo game, the price of goods changes each round. So normally if you buy goods, or at least to sell goods, after you're done selling, the price is going to drop. If you buy goods, after you're done buying, the price goes up. So this is really dynamic in a multiplayer game. To simulate it in the solo game, yeah, they actually have dice for this. They tell you one has the good on it, the other one has whether it goes up or down and how many spots. So the prices are going to fluctuate throughout the game as well. So wheat has not changed in price. I could buy up to 2 right now for 5 each because I have 2 workers in my market. So that's where these workers come in. I could buy 2, so I don't necessarily have to have a farm, but I want to have a farm because I don't want to have to keep buying, and that way I can keep producing bread and whiskey every turn. So I'm going to put it here. So that's going to cost me 18 because that's how expensive these farms are, plus 3 for the space. So, and I'm doing that before I fulfill my next contract because this sheep's not going to be here in a minute. I'm going to turn them into mutton. All right, so my money just dropped dramatically from 31 down to 9. But remember, in the second round of the game, it doesn't cost you anything to take a contract. So I'm going to take this contract here and confirm that. Cost me no money. And then I could fulfill this contract right now because remember I built some whiskey at the end of last round or made some whiskey. So I can do that, and I've got 2 mutton. So I'm going to click on this to fulfill my contract. And what that'll do, again, as a reminder, it's going to take these off of the board. So 1, 2, off of the board. And back down here. So now I'm going to have to build them all over again if I want to build those things. Now, while contracts are free, I'm going to look and see what kind of contract I can get. And remember, I'm going to be producing some wheat. So I'm probably going to take this. This also gets me tobacco. It gets me some money. So, oh, wait, I'm sorry. So this contract I just fulfilled, this one here, if you notice this space in the middle here, it's like a 0 cost. I can build a building of my choice at 0 cost for the space itself. So I'm going to build in that 6 space. So I'm going to get one of my woodcutters. I still have to pay for the woodcutter, so it's going to cost 6. But I'm going to take this 6 space, and that'll be free. So I don't pay anything for the space itself. I'm just paying for the woodcutter there. And that gets me access to this 2 cost space over here. So I want to do that. Plus, remember, I'm paying 6, but at the end of the round, I'm going to get 6 because I've already upgraded that. So let's confirm and put him over there. All right, so now I have 4 money left, which if we think about it, that's the cost of an upgrade. And I see upgrades are worth 1 victory point at the end of the round. This upgrade isn't just for now, it's going to be for the rest of the game. There's not really much else I can do. I have no goods at all right now. So the best thing I can do, the other option would have been for me to build here, and then I'd have access to this free upgrade and 3 victory points, but I'll get that eventually. I was hoping to get it early, but I didn't quite get there. Let's see. So I'm not touching this water here. If I was, the next upgrade would actually give me access to this, but I'm not. If I was touching here, if I had double water upgrade, I'd go over 1-2 locks to get to this, but I can't. So none of that matters, but I do want to upgrade this because eventually I'm going to want to ship, be able to build over water spaces. So right now, well, this space is blocked, but that would have been nice. Oh, I could build right here right now. Or right here. So I could skip this 4 cost space because I could go build through the water now, these locks. So that's, that's very useful. All right, but I am down to 0 money, which means it's the end of the round. And as you can see, the game goes pretty quickly, and it works that way when you're playing multiplayer as well. So I'm going to pass. That is the end of the round, and let's see what happens. So again, I've got 2 wheat grain, which I produced. I'm turning them both into upgraded goods because I don't really have anything here that requires grain. And actually, I'm not even sure that they have things that require unprocessed goods. So I'm not really using my special power to the best of its ability. I really want to dig down deep on one of these, and it makes sense to do whiskey. Oh, I just messed up. I could have taken one of these contracts for free at the end of the round. Now it's going to cost me 5 to take a contract. I was going to take that 3 whiskey contract, but I was so busy talking. You know me, that happens. Let me see if I can cancel out. I don't think I can. All right, so I already skipped, so it's going to cost me 5 extra bucks, and money is so tight in this game, as you've seen, that was a pretty terrible mistake. But lesson learned. All right, so scored at the end of the round, scored 3 points for my upgrades. That's 1 upgrade, 2 upgrades, 3 upgrades total that I had on my board. And this round, I'm going to score for meat on my contracts. So maybe I'll go for a contract with meat again, although none of these contracts has meat. So I'm basically just going to score the 2 points there. Well, 2 points per, so 4 points at the end of the round. So let's think about this, though. Maybe I do want to start getting people on the board, or maybe I want to just, this just basically says fulfill a lot of contracts. I am mad at myself for messing that one up, but that's okay. Let's get back to the board, see what we can do this round. Let's see if there are any contracts that look pretty easy for us. So we have a bread, we have a whiskey, and that is it. We are not doing very good for stuff on the board right now. So this costs a whiskey, this costs 3 whiskey, this costs, let's see the prices of things. What can I, and unfortunately, bread is deflated in price right now. So selling my bread doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Selling whiskey might, but it's not really changed that price. If I had some wool, gosh. So maybe I build some, get some sheep to help me with those wool. So let's do that. Let's start with the sheep. I will do that. I'll build it here. And part of the reason I'm doing that is for this bonus over here. So it's going to be 3 victory points and lets me upgrade something. What do I want to upgrade? I'm probably going to build up to here if I can. And that way I can use this. There aren't, I guess if I build down to here, that'll let me build over here. Or actually here would already let me build. Yeah, I don't know that, you know what? I'm going to buy another market worker. I might need to buy or sell more stuff at some point here. Maybe sooner than later. All right. So let's think about what contract I want. Because again, I want to build processed goods. So I don't necessarily want a lot of stuff. And then I also need to think about again. So let's look at this. All right. First, I want either tobacco or what is that good over there? I can't remember. But one of the other goods. So I don't want, bottom line, I don't want sugar. So I don't want this one. So any of these other ones would be good. Let's see. Let's go for this 3 whiskey and a cheese over here. All right, I'm going to take that contract. Again, I should have taken it at the end of the last round. It wouldn't have cost me 5, but now it does. All right, so I need cheese production. And so milk is actually pretty cheap to buy, but so is cheese. So I'm actually just going to buy a cheese now. So the way you do that, you put it at the top. You buy one, confirm. And wait, did I not buy one? Oop, put it up here. +1. Oops, no. Don't need to buy 2. Wait, did I already buy that cheese? No. All right, so I'm going to confirm that. Now I have a cheese. And you notice it has my thing up there. I still have 2 more workers to buy stuff because remember I upgraded that. And now it increased the cost of cheese by 1 as well. Probably going to sell my 1 whiskey, right? Well, which contract? Oh, which contract? No. I need whiskey. All right. So I would love to get more fields. And I would love to... Now, how expensive? It's not that expensive right now. So let's see. Let's see if I can build some whiskey stills on the board. There's 1. Yeah, I messed this all up. So I'm going to have to sell some stuff. I'm going to have to sell my bread because I'm not going to need that. So sell it for 8, confirm. And then, can I build another one? I can. Then you cannot buy and sell the same goods, so I actually can't sell that cheese right now. But I can sell my whiskey. All right, so that's probably what will end up happening. So let's see, where's the cheapest place I'm going to build down here because that gives me access to this 2 space. And let's see, if I sell that whiskey, I'll be to 12 money, which would not be enough to get me the wheat I need for the turn. The wheat farm, yeah, no, things aren't going well. I'm going to sell it anyway for 12. That will lower the price if I need to buy whiskey next turn, but it also, it doesn't let me build that. I would have been 1 short, well, plus the cost to build it. Yeah. All right. I am just making terrible choices left and right here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to build some more sheep on the board. That'll get me some resources. I have totally messed this up, but that is okay. You guys are seeing an awful play of Clans of Caledonia. The play is not bad, but the player is bad. All right, so I'm going to pass at the end of the round, get my 16 money, confirm that. Yep. I also get my income now from my woodcutters. That's 18 because I have 3 of them on the board. I'm going to produce 2 whiskey. Unfortunately, I got a whiskey place and so max 3 here and a bread place that I can't use because I didn't bother getting any grain to do it. I didn't either build a farm to get grain or another way to get grain, so that just went to nowhere. I do have a milk over here. Oh no, I already have a cheese, so I'm going to end up with a cheese. So let's confirm. So good enough. I only need to build 1 whiskey, which I just sold at the end of last round, but I'm probably going to have to buy it back this round to be able to fulfill this contract over here. Alrighty. Yes, mistakes were made. All right, so let's go ahead and build another farm down here. Confirm that. Then I am going to go ahead and buy that whiskey back that I just sold. Confirm that. That cost me 10. I had 10 to begin with. All right, so this will get me tobacco, hops, which are just 1 victory point each at the end of the game, and 5 money. Let's go ahead and do that. But now at least I will be fully producing because I'm producing 4 and I can produce 4 points worth of stuff. Now, interestingly, if I build this last whiskey place down here, I get to look at some things from the top of the board. So if I don't like any of these contracts right now, which, do I have a cow? I don't have any cows because I need cow for this one. And what's the end of the round scoring? People on the board. Okay. I don't love any of these contracts, especially because I'm trying to balance myself out a little bit. So, oh, this is 3 wool and 3. There's no way I'm getting 3 cheese anytime soon. This one would be a cow, a bread, and a whiskey. I actually could do that one pretty easily. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let's build that cow on the board. We got 2 points back there. That's awesome. So when the slaughter happens, what's that movie? Slaughter Ball. Wreck-It Ralph. Slaughter Ball. That's not at all how the song goes, but that's all right. All right, so I'm going to need some money here. I have some extra wool right now that I don't need to do anything with, especially because I'm getting more wool at the end of this turn. I'm going to take this contract before it goes up in price, but in order to do that, I'm going to sell both of my wool. That gets me 8 money. In order to buy a contract, I need 10 money. That's not even enough. Oh, gosh. This is... And I already used my other worker, so I could get a worker, but I don't even have anything more valuable to sell. So I can put stuff on the board. I probably should do that. So putting this bread factory out is not going to do anything because I only have 4 wheat. So I put this out. I can at least convert my milk to cheese, and we'll see what happens with that. You know, usually I have a plan when and where I'm building, but I don't really right now. I kind of feel like I want to build toward the corners. Yeah, with that being said, I'm going to build here so I could build here and maybe use this at some point to trade some goods in for other goods. Alrighty, well, that is the end of the round, and you see this game goes quickly, especially if I wasn't have to explain everything every round, but it's a pretty quick game, and I like it. I love the economics. I love the tough choices you have to make. I am not doing very well, but that's okay. Did I? No, I didn't take a contract because, because I did not have money to take a contract. And now the contracts are going up to 15. And this is the last round of the game. So I'm going to go over some end game scoring stuff too. And you'll see where all my terrible mistakes came in. I'm going to upgrade as much as I can. So as you noticed, I had 2 wool. I made 2 wool this turn. I also made milk this turn. But I turned that milk into cheese. So when I add it here, it takes it away from there. I did produce 4 grain this turn, but I turned it all into whiskey and bread, which sounds like a fun time. Sounds like something that you would want to do if you were in the Scottish Highlands. You know, whether or not I do well at the game, at least I'm having a good time, right? So let's see. Let's look at end game scoring, just so you have an idea of how this works. So you're going to get 1 victory point for every chip on the glory track. And if you notice, we've been getting glory throughout the game for fulfilling these end of round stuff. Oh, by the way, I got 6 glory points for the end of that round. Let's see, what was the bonus? I'm going to go hit replay, and it'll replay it from this move. I'm going to remind myself what I got 6 points for there. So, for number of workers I have on the board. And I have 3, so that makes sense. 6 victory points. I was getting 2 for each. All right, so now we have just goods on contracts. So it's basically this total number here. So right now I'm getting 10 points from this because I've traded for 6 goods. So again, I want to trade for this other one, which I believe is cotton actually. So I definitely want to trade for cotton this round. All right, this one would be expensive for me to do because I only have 1 cheese. This, we were looking at doing this, and I have the bread, I have the whiskey, and I have the cow, which I can turn into meat. So let's do that contract. I'm going to confirm taking the contract. Cost me 15, so that puts me down to 19 money already. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I'm just going to fulfill it right away because I have all the goods I need. I only have 1 cow on the board, so that's the one I'm going to have to turn into the meat. So again, when you use it, it goes right back. So you're not only not getting the goods for it anymore, but yeah, it takes it away. It's pretty brutal. Those things with meat costs are pretty expensive, but I had to do it. I had to do it. All right, so I have 6, 4, and 3. I'd love to get another cotton contract. This one here is not that great, but I have a cheap way of getting to look at different contracts, and maybe I even get something that I can, I can already fulfill this contract, and it gives me 10 money. Yeah, and it gets this. We'll actually tie those 2. So yeah, let's do that because I have 2 whiskey barrels already. Yep. Confirm. I'm going to take that contract and I'm just going to fulfill it. Boom. Yes, I want to sell my whiskey. Why wouldn't I want to sell my whiskey? All right, so that gives me 10 money. It cost me 15 to get that contract, but I got 10 of that money right back and puts me up on these boards. So that got me 2 tobacco, and tobacco is currently at the 4-star spot. So that is going to be 8 extra victory points at the end of the game for doing that. I'd still love to get a cotton contract. Is there any possible way? I don't think there is any possible way. What goods do I have to sell? I have 2 wool and I have a cheese. Ooh, 2 wool of cheese and a whiskey. If I could get that whiskey, I could actually fulfill this contract. The problem is I don't have the money to both take this contract, which would cost me 15 to take, and then fulfill it because I need to buy 1 whiskey for 8. So I don't think there's any point in me buying more contracts. So let's go back to end game scoring here. 1 victory point for every glory you've gotten throughout the game. So we went through that. 1 victory point for each basic good in your stock. For every basic good you have, it's 1 victory point. 2 victory points for each processed good in your stock. 1 victory point for every 10 money. 1 victory point for each hops on your contracts that you've completed. And then 3, 4, or 5 victory points for the rarity of the imported goods that you have. We talked about that already. So they're sugar cane, cotton, and tobacco. And then the last thing is 7 points, or if you have 7 or more contracts fulfilled, you get 12 points. If you have, what is that? Oh, 6 contracts, you get 8 victory points. 5 contracts, you get 4 victory points. And then for settlements, the way settlements work, it's like contiguous road kind of. So this would be 1, 2 in this contiguous group, and that does count if you're going over locks with your shipping. So this group is 2 right here. I could connect it here theoretically to make it count as part of this group, which is this one's just 1 by itself. This group is 1 by, oh no, because now it connects over there. So this group is 1 big, 2 big, 3 big, 4 big over here. So if I could connect something to this group, I could make it a size 5 settlement, and it actually shows me here that this was size 4. So if I could connect it again here, that would make it a size 5 again. And then if I could figure out a way to connect it down to this one with this space here, it would be size 5. Unfortunately, it wouldn't add to the size adding here, but it would because I'm across the lock or across the river here. So it'd be size 6 settlement. The other option is to just build across the water here. Now I only have 1 space of lock movement, so that's a pretty expensive spot to go to. So we'll see, but I definitely would, oh, well, let's see how many I need to make it worthwhile. Let's go to endgame scoring again. So endgame scoring, 14 or more, yeah, right, that's not happening, is 18, 11 to 13 is 12, 8 to 10 is 6 victory points. Well, that's not going to happen. I'm not getting to 8 no matter what I do, so I'm not going to worry about that either. So what should I worry about? Well, I should worry about getting processed goods. But if you sell it, you can't drink it. That is exactly correct. I am not able to drink my sold whiskey. But at least, you know, maybe I made it a little light. Maybe I just gave him a little bit of whiskey. I didn't give him all the whiskey. All right, so I'm going to bring this cow back out because that, again, lets me to get milk, which I can then turn into cheese. And so these goods right here, I'm just going to end up selling them at the end of the game. There's no way I can do another contract, so I'm just going to produce as much goods as I can. All right, so I am down to 4 money. Upgrades do not get me anything at the end of the game unless, of course, like I made locks, which help me spread out more, but now I'm not going to do that. I could sell my goods to try to produce more goods, which doesn't seem worth it at this point. I think I'm just stuck where I am. I made a terrible mistake not taking a contract here. That 5 money, as you can see, every money matters so much. The other thing I didn't do a great job of, actually, if I had built here instead of there, that would have cost me 2 more money. But then I could have done this, but I would have been 1 money short from doing this. Ooh. Discard 1 processed goods and turn it into 2 processed goods. That would have let me change the cheese into the cheese and the whiskey. Yeah, if I had played this better and gotten to this spot here or gotten down to here, I really would have been able to use those corner benefits, or yeah, bonuses to my benefit. So as you can see, I mean, there's a lot that's going to change from game to game. Those 4 corner things are going to change. The end of every round scoring is going to change every round. The map itself could change based on what's going on. There's different sides to the map, so that can go together in a different way. You're going to have a different clan each time, different starting goods each time. This market is going to move around differently each time. So lots of variable stuff, but I think I am done in more ways than one. I am definitely, hold on, let's look at the ranges before I get out of here just to see. Oh, they don't show me. Well, they're going to show me what my final score is. I think 115 was rookie. Like anything below that is just terrible. I have a feeling I'm going to be in that 115 range or below 115 range. So let's see. I am going to pass. And that is going to end the game. All right, end game scoring. Oh, I did get 122 points, which is rookie. I believe that is the second level up, so it's not the lowest level. So let's see how I scored. I had 35 glory points because I got some at the end of the game. I got 15 on that last little bit, which was really nice. So you really want to prepare for that 5th round one because 6 was the most I had gotten before that last round. Basic goods, I had 4 basic goods, so I got 4 points for that. Processed goods, they were with 2 each, so I had 6 of those at the end of the game, and you could kind of see over here where all that was. Hops, I had 7, so my fulfilled contracts had 7 points of hops. Cotton, I got 15 points for, which I am guessing, oh yes, I had 3 cotton. So they were worth 5 points each. So that's 15. Tobacco, I had 6 of them, as you can see here, which were worth 4 points each. And sugar, I had 6 of them as well, but they were only worth 3 points each. So if you can really manipulate this import market here to get the maximum points, you can really do well, scoring endgame points based on the contracts you filled. Contracts, I only fulfilled 4 of them, so I didn't get a bonus for that. Oh, no, I guess I did get a 4-point bonus for that. I'm sorry, this is the points. So I did get a certain number of contracts. The minimum, I guess, was 5, I think. So I did get points for that. Settlements, definitely not. Did not get nearly enough. I only had 5 different settlements connected to my biggest things. So 122 points, rookie. Not as bad as I thought, but there were definitely opportunities there for much more scoring. So as you can see, this is a game that I really enjoy. I love economic thinking. What do I do with these $3, $2, whatever? I love those kind of tough decisions in game, and this one has them. And as you can see, though, the actions themselves, when you look at the player aid, it's like, oh my gosh, what is all of this stuff going on here? But it's really not that confusing at all. Like, I mean, these are just upgrading. You saw that, pay $4 for the basic upgrades, or 10 to flip it over, so you earn plus $2 per worker there. Expanding is the biggest action you're doing. You would get neighborhood bonuses in multiplayer games where you could buy stuff cheaper if you build next to people. They kind of took that from Gaia Project and the one before it, which Terra Mystica. So that kind of came from that. You build next to like a place that produces milk. You could buy milk cheaper. You get a discount for doing that. But obtaining contracts, you saw, you just look at the round number. That tells you how much it is. Trade, you could buy or sell goods. We looked at that. I didn't do that as much as I probably should have. Using your merchants, you can buy and sell goods to get you more money, or use the money you have to get goods so you can fulfill contracts, or fulfilling the contracts themselves. You pay, you get what you need, what you want out of it. And then pass at the end of the round, the first person to pass gets the most money, second most money, and then you're going to also, that determines player order for the following round. So if I was last, but I was the first to pass, I'm going to get that 16 money, and I'll be first to play in the next round. So there's some benefits for passing early. There's a lot of player interaction in this game, but considering how much player interaction there is, it really does a good job in the solo game of showing that. So thanks everybody for joining me today. I'm going to do something a little different this time on my goodbye. Normally I say, hey, whoever I'm with, and then I come up with some, witty banter with them. Some of you might not think it's so witty, but whatever. But when I'm doing these solo casts, I actually think I'm going to do movie quotes. So being that we were in the Scottish Highlands today, playing Clans of Caledonia, the only quote I could think of would be, "Freedom!" Thanks for joining me, and we will see you very soon with another stream. Bye!